That's a picture of Lassen National Park in California, and I'm going to thank June for the photo inspiration. I liked it so much I wanted to paint a picture of it. So, primed my canvas with a thin layer of white paint. Now I'm working with some dark blue up in the corner, and I'm coming in with a dry bristled brush, and this is a soft brush. I'm just doing some blending. And here you're barely touching the canvas with this brush, you're just sort of manipulating the top layer of that paint. And if you primed your canvas, it's going to blend pretty well. And just blending. Now I'm loading up a medium flat bristle brush with some black paint, and we're going to go ahead and lay down our horizon for our mountains. Here I'm just going to take that paint and blend it down. Now I'm loading up a small brush with some black paint, and I'm going to come in and put some trees onto the horizon line, just so you can see some depth. You guys always work from your background to your foreground. Now I'm going to come in with a flat brush. Just add some tree shapes. Just make little Z's back and forth. These don't have to be perfect. This is just the impression of trees. And you're going to get a medium flat brush, load it up with some black paint, decide where your trees are going to be, and commit. I'm loading up a fan brush with some dark green paint, and I'm going to show you how to make one of these pine trees or redwoods, and sort of dip your brush and rock it back and forth, and while you're doing this, sort of lay down the paint and then push it up and into the canvas and let the shape of that fan brush do most of the work. Now, as long as you're on these dark colors and you're going to lay down the dark for a couple of these trees, you don't have to really rinse your brush out. And I wouldn't recommend it because it might get a little bit watery. When you use your fan brush, you kind of want your paint to be a little bit dry. Over here, I'm just doing the same thing. You start with the corner and then rock it back and forth. You can see how the brush just kind of makes it really easy. And they do have different size fan brushes and make this a little bit easier for your smaller trees. Okay, and start with the corner. And this little tree is behind this one, so I'm only using the corner of the brush. Okay, now I think I'm cleaning my brush and I'm going to come back in with some of that brighter green for some highlights on these trees. Again, I'm just using the same large fan brush and the same technique. Oh. Because I need another tree there. Again, when you load up your fan brush with paint, use a lot of paint. Saturate it. I think it's important to change your water. I think maybe that's what was happening right there. After you do these dark parts, it's going to be, your water is going to be pretty muddy and you want to use clean water for these highlights. I advise you to let your dark paint dry as well. Here we're just coming in and I'll show you with that bright paint. Just kind of place it on the edges where the highlights would hit the tree. And like I said, let the bristles and the shape of that brush do a lot of that work. And just kind of tap it. Now there's another way to paint these kind of trees, and you take your same fan brush and you load it with your dark and your light paint. Do your light paint on one side and your dark paint on the other side, and I don't mean the flip side, I mean a left and a right. So here I put the dark on the left side and the highlight color on the right side, and it makes just a more of a bushier kind of a tree, and you'll see in a couple of these ones. And same thing, load your fan brush, the left side with dark, right side with light. Sort of rock it back and forth. I think we're going to come in here closer so I can show you a little bit better how this particular technique works. Same thing, darker on your left of your fan brush and lighter on your right. And I start with the corner, and I'm pressing into the canvas and sort of up at the same time. If you want a little more highlight, you just rock it to the right. If that's too much, like right there, I just darkened it a little bit. Come back in with some more highlight on the right. Now this one you're just going to have to build a little bit because you didn't put down a dark base. So you are going to be able to see some of the trunk through this. So I believe I'm just reloading my brush right here because I want to come in and just brighten up the brights and darken the darks on those bushier trees. Here I'm just coming in and priming some of this canvas down here with a thin layer of white paint. And that's just so your colors are going to blend and glide smoother on the canvas. Here comes some yellow. And this is going to be the brightest part of our water. And you always want to start with the brightest part if you're going to be blending, because it's super hard to come back and you'll pretty much never get that again. So start with your lightest color and work your way out. Next I'm getting some beige or some brown. And you're going to do your shore or, the sand where it gets wet. It's a little bit darker, and just blend it in. Then I'm using just a medium flat brush. And I can list some of the colors and the brushes and stuff like that for you guys if you want to know. I'm coming in with a little bit of bright green just to reflect those trees. Here, coming in with your darkest color. And I just laid down the paint once, and the farther away you get from that main dark spot, obviously the lighter it's going to get. So just blend your way out, and I never bring back and I never pick back up any more paint. It'd be a little bit overwhelming if I did. Wouldn't blend as well. So I'm coming in with a black line under your trees. And this is going to be to pull some paint for your reflections later. And these are your reflections. You're just going to come in with that same flat brush loaded with that black paint and work your way back down. And these reflections don't have to be mirror images of the trees above them. They're in water and they're in a lake, and it's all good. It doesn't have to be perfect. So just, there you go, work your way back and forth and build your trees. And here in a second you're going to come in with another dry brush, and you're going to pull from that black line that you put under your trees, and that's what's going to help you make some reflections, make it look like some water. You can keep your reflections crisp like this, or you can blend them out. For this one I wanted them a little bit more blurry. Let's go ahead and grab that dry, larger brush and just grab the paint from that line that you just made and pull straight down through your reflection lines. See how it drags some of that paint? That's what you want it to do. I'm coming in with a smaller fan brush. And this is just a lighter color. Make it look like, drag it up from that line and make it look like you've got some brush or some taller grass. And break up that black line in your trees a little bit. Here you can see it a little bit better. I think I'm loading up that medium flat brush with some brown or beige so we can come in and put some soil underneath of these trees. give them some land to sit on. Here I'm just blurring these out a little bit more. So here's your beige or your brown for your soil. Go ahead and add it right underneath of that black line. And that's going to be your land or your soil that your trees are kind of sitting on or sitting right behind. And after this, you're going to come in with a little bit of bright white paint, and you're going to clean your brush every time you want to brighten this up. You want them nice and crisp and bright. So come in here and just kind of lay these down flat. Put them underneath that brown that you just laid down. And that really gives your water the reflection look. And that's about it, guys. I mean, you can highlight some of your trunks and stuff like that, add some bushes, but for the most part, that's it. So have fun and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you get a chance, go visit Lassen National Park in California. It's beautiful.